Hello and welcome to Restoring Our American Republic. I'm Chuck Benoit with The Nature of Things, where we are realigning God, government, and natural law so that we might restore our American Republic. Please follow us on Facebook at Restoring Our American Republic or check us out on YouTube at Restoring Our American Republic -ROAR. If you'd like to take part in the narrative, simply post your comments and we'll be happy to address them when relevant to our discussion, and you can help us be a voice here locally by liking and sharing our program. So, recently the IRS has decided that churches can now endorse political candidates. This was arrived at through a lawsuit that was brought on behalf of the national religious broadcasters. They, the broadcasters, stated that their speech was wrongfully silenced by the Johnson Amendment. So now the Johnson Amendment was passed in 1954 and was a direct attack on the church because then Senator Lyndon Johnson was not happy about how the local church was interfering in his interests in Texas politics. The idea that churches were not allowed to participate in political speech has been unconstitutional from the beginning, and quite frankly, was self-administered by the church and not really by the IRS. However, because the church as a whole refused to stand up against the unconstitutionality of the Johnson Amendment, it has been in a state of what I would call political captivity of its own making. A 70-year captivity that I would hope the American church might consider as of biblical proportion, similar to the Israelites' Babylonian captivity of the same duration. So now they are free to speak up. The question is, will they? So please join me in welcoming today's guest, Rick Carlins. Rick, let me see if I can find you here on my guest list. Still not there. I always manage to screw something up. There you are.
That's a good way to get started.
There
it makes it easy
for
me
sure,
in case I make a mistake.
So, Rick, you are quite active in local politics and, quite frankly, in the spiritual side of things as well. President of the Florida Republican Assembly, and you are the director of the CSPOA operation. Tell us a little bit about Florida Republican Assembly. Oh, wait a second. Before we get started, let's bring Mike into Mike Levine. Hey, Mike, what's up this morning?
Hey, gentlemen. Great to be with you guys.
Super, super. So again, Rick, tell us a little bit about FRA.
Well, FRA, the CSPOA, and anything else that it is that I do, Chuck and Mike, is for the purpose of, as you had mentioned, my spirituality comes into everything. It's my biblical worldview, and it is, it's our duty as Christians to maintain it. And I think we've fallen short in so many ways, which is evidenced by our condition right now. And so, with your opening commentary, with us being now allowed to endorse political candidates and so forth, I say allowed because we were never not allowed. That was it's bad law, it's pretended law. It was never meant to be, because those who don't have a voice just have relinquished it willingly. It needs to be always. It always needs to be maintained. And this is an opportunity that those who wish to roll over you take. For example, they shut up the church, which really, is that God is the author of our liberty. Which you wanted me to start with the FRA, but I'm rolling right into the Bill of Rights ordinance. Our first 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights. So and we need to maintain that. Because, if those who mean to rule over us are in the world, and they are in a very powerful way, they can only gain power when we allow them to do that. So I'll jump over to the FRA.
Let's get back to the FRA. What is the Florida Republican Assembly?
I don't know. I like the direction we're on.
Say that again, Mike.
I like the path we're on myself, Rick. So but don't feel obligated to jump over to the FRA. I think what you're saying is really important, and I think what Chuck's opening monologue is really important too.
Amen.
Very crucial, very crucial. So, let's cover the content that is most relevant to our viewers, and hopefully our viewers are aligned with us. So
Sure.
I would just say that, Chuck. And of course, Chuck is the facilitator. So for me, when I'm done, Rick, I just toss it over to Chuck and let him tell us where to go next. So Chuck.
There you go. There you go. Well, I think again, we certainly are talking to ourselves, a lot of our friends, et cetera, who know all about this. But it's conceivable that someone may not know anything about the FRA. So I thought, a couple of sentences about the FRA, and then we'll get going on other things.
I suppose I'd be negligent if I didn't. The FRA. I am the president of the FRA, and I inherited that position. But the reason that I took it on and didn't decline it is because of the opportunity to be in this effort that I had previously expressed. It's rather than there's so much education that goes on, and education is very important so that people know what is being done to them. But the FRA is what I would like to call it as a do tank. We encourage people to go to Tallahassee and engage with the senators and our representatives and support bills that we are in favor of and vehemently oppose those which we are not, and also try to have them do bills that we think there's a real problem in. For example, election integrity. So that's one of the things that we do. The other thing is there's call to actions that we have. We have a collective email list. For myself, it's Lake County, but the Florida Republican Assembly, I'm not sure how many counties there is right now that have a chapter, but there's a statewide notice that goes out on legislation and things that are being watched, where we can then call and email the different committees that the senators and the representatives sit on and let them know exactly what it is that we would like to see the outcome be. So that's what I say is a do tank. We are doing things, we're making noise. And that is one of the things that we have done over the past few years that I'm really glad that we were able to shake things up that much, is when the RPOF had a quarterly meeting when Trump was going to be on the primary and certain states were removing, I think they were removing Biden from the primary. So what was the Republican or the RPOF, the Republican Party of Florida, what they were going to do is they had intentions to remove Trump from the primary ticket. And we caught wind of that and went down there in force. We were in the lobby while they had their meeting, and we're joined with the Liberty Caucus and many other conservative groups. It was a combined effort, which is the only way that we're effective. It's just not the Florida Republican Assembly, but we're a voice. When we all come together, we're a lot stronger. So we were down there and they didn't do that. Okay, so that's one strike against the FRA, who we were the loudest voice down there at that time, the most people. So that's one strike against us that the RPOF had. And there were other things that the RPOF, and when I say RPOF, it's the Republican Party of Florida, had against us, is that we came out with a resolution, a statement. We were encouraging DeSantis not to run for president, which I was extremely discouraged or disappointed that he ran, that he put his name in the hat anyway, because anybody who's facing the truth and just has any idea of the difference between right and wrong know that the election was stolen in 2020. DeSantis has to know that. He had to know that. So in order for him to run, I say, what kind of a game are we playing? We're going to go back through a process again where the presidential election was already stolen from us once. What we need to do to have integrity in that is restore the rightful owner to his place. And that's not so much his place, that's our place, because we voted him in there. It's the people. It was the people's choice. It was our mandate, and they took it away from us. And again, here we are down the road where Trump was elected a third time. But that still hasn't been remedied. And then I'm talking about the election integrity. So it still hasn't been remedied. And, it's even further away from conversation than what it was years past. And it's something that has to be fixed. We really can't right the ship until this is addressed and taken care of. Now, there's a video too that I'd circulated through the FRA, and it's with regards to hand counting paper ballots on election day, at local precinct levels, and have more precincts, more people know each other in a small, in not such a large precinct. But I think Mike wanted to interject something there. Do you, Mike?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to say that, the FRA is a Judeo-Christian organization that is very community service oriented and is a most worthy cause. So I just applaud you and thank you for the work that you do there. And then, we get into the election integrity piece of it, and everything you said there is accurate as well. And now I just wanted to raise everyone's consciousness that there is a movement across the state of Florida that is targeting campaign finance reform as another crucial element of guaranteeing voters vote. So again, as you can see, with the political committees and all that kind of stuff, true, Rick, my point in a nutshell is that, yes, we still have work to do on the election processes, but campaign finance reform is also a critical component of allowing Florida citizens' voices to be heard at the ballot box. And I'll toss it back over to you, Rick.
Well, thanks, Mike. And, I 100% agree with that. But I guess I start getting into the weeds too much. And what I wanted to do was I said the first thing that got the RPOF to take notice of the FRA was that quarterly. And the second one was whatever they asked DeSantis to remove himself from the election process and be governor. And also how we ring their bell with the call to actions and so forth, things that are being promoted from the top down. Now, what I was getting to there, though, is that the RPOF had that lawsuit against us, or a cease and desist order that they sent out to all the presidents because we used the name Republican and the symbol of the elephant. It was a form of lawfare. It was a form of lawfare, and it's effective to a degree, even no matter what the outcome is. And the outcome was favorable on our part with regards to they have no say over whether we use the word Republican or use their elephant. But, at the same time, they are still giving clear indication to their different chairmen in the counties that they do not like the Florida Republican Assembly members. And so they can, if they choose so to please their masters, the RPOF, they could remove us from the RECs. So what they're doing is they're consolidating their power. Which is what we fight against at the Florida Republican Assembly. The other thing that I do with the Lake County Republican Assembly is, since I have an opportunity to bring in the speakers that I'd like to have, is we currently have coming up Robert Goodman, who is a representative for Citizens Defending. I got to get it right. Faith Directors, CDF, Citizens Defending Freedom. Yes. And it is a Judeo-Christian group, again, realizing that our Constitution is based on a biblical worldview. And this is definitely what needs to be, that we need to get back to in order to recover from this hostile takeover of our liberties. and then again to maintain it. He is going to be our speaker, and that's going to be on next Thursday, the 24th of this month. And we meet at the Taveri Civic Center. And then also I would like to mention the fact that on August the 23rd, we have our statewide convention, and there's going to be a number of good speakers there. And my chapter has 2 tickets still for sale if anybody would be interested in one of those 2 tickets that are available. So I just wanted to bring that up as well. Now, go ahead. I can't think of anything else.
Did you give the date on your next one? Is it July 24th? Is it?
24th, next Thursday, Taveri Civic Center. Yes.
And your meetings are every 4th Thursday, correct?
Every 4th Thursday, yes.
Yeah, so there's 5 Thursdays in July, in case anyone's interested. It's July 24th. And Robert Goodman of the Florida Faith Director, he's the Faith Director for Citizens Defending Freedom. Your guest there that in your next session. It's awesome, absolutely awesome. Rick, Mike, were you getting ready to say something a minute ago?
I'm good for now.
Good for now.
So I'll turn it over to you, Chuck.
Okay.
Keep us on track here, Chuck.
So, you've been very much interested in this Bill of Rights County Ordinance. Could you kind of tell us a little bit about that? I think you started to address it earlier, but the Bill of Rights, Sanctuary County Bill of Rights Ordinance, tell us about it.
Amen. I will, Chuck. It's something that I have been interested in, and I may preface this as we have to have accountability. You do not have, you can't maintain your liberty and a society if you do not have accountability that justice is enforced. So with that being said, it's something that I naturally was very focused on when I found out about it. It is a Bill of Rights ordinance. Now, ordinance is something that actually has teeth. A resolution is no more than making a statement, although they are effective in their own right for making statements. They let people know where you stand. But an ordinance is enforceable. It gives the sheriff authority. It gives him jurisdiction. He's able then to go to the commissioners. And for example, if somebody comes into a red flag law and, it's just would be one of those egregious events where somebody just calls somebody up out of being vindictive, that this person's not mentally fit to be able to have a gun. I feel like I'm threatened by them and so forth, so they can come and take your guns. Now, the sheriff would not enforce that, not only not enforce that, but if another authority comes in to try to enforce it, it would give the sheriff power to intervene. Not just to say this is unconstitutional, go away, but they could actually set up some penalties, fines, jail time, or whatever is required. Now, with one of the things, though, whenever you do anything like that you're asking the commissioners to do something that makes a very strong statement for moral authority, there's some backlash there. I had that experience with question 4, the abortion question. It was on for a constitutional amendment. Our commissioners did not want to specifically say that they were asking their counties, the people, encouraging them to vote no. They were afraid, was advised by the lawyer that they could be subject to some lawsuits or some type of litigation. So they did make a statement, and were all definitely against it, voting against it, but didn't go as far as to encourage everybody to vote against it. Now, Collier County did do that, and they had no no repercussions from that at all. And the other thing, the reason that I mentioned that and Collier County is because Collier County is the only county in Florida that actually has this ordinance in place.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. Collier's the only one so far.
They're the only one. Yes, there are many that have resolutions, but none that have the ordinance outside of Collier County. And I know there are some others in the country that have it as well. But then, too, I spoke with Chris Hall, who is the chairman of Collier County Commissioners, and he had mentioned to me, that they have absolutely had no legal ramifications to this at all. Nothing has the fears that are mentioned by the attorneys and so forth just have not happened. But with that being said, though, is it's our first 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights. And if we are patriots, Christians, we fundamentally believe in those. You cannot stand against those. So if you can't stand against those, be an American citizen and do believe in the founding principles of our Constitution, then why not enact this ordinance? And so I will go on to say, though, that I did have a discussion with our sheriff, and he is 100% on board with this and is very happy to speak for it at a commissioners meeting. I still have 2 commissioners to meet with, and that task will be completed by the end of next week, and I hope to get this on the agenda. One of the other things that we have done was put together a petition of people that would be willing to go to the meeting in support of this whenever it is put on the agenda. So this is something that I'd like to see through and have an answer one way or another from our commissioners prior to, I would say September. Because I don't know how long it takes to get things on the agenda, but we'll be seeing if we can get that done. It's something that is, we've heard from people that I respect very much. So, as General Michael Flynn, he says it's at home. It starts at home. It's from the county level on up. So this is something that we can do in the county, and it ties into with what I was saying is there is no peace if justice isn't being enforced. A term that I heard that was quoted by somebody, I don't know who it was right now, but I believe it was back in the 1700s, is that the observance of religion and the neglect of justice are contradictions. You got to have both.
Absolutely.
So
Excellent.
go ahead.
So, my next question was going to be, why are you so passionate about this? But I do believe you probably have already expressed that. So I was wondering, how is it being received here in Lake County by the
commissioners?
Yeah.
Well, as I said, most importantly, the sheriff is on board. And I think that, the sheriff has a lot of pull with the commissioners. In on different meetings, I've heard them all say that with the sheriff, once he gets, and we had a little bit of discussion about that earlier, but every commissioner that I spoke with was fundamentally on board. But the questions that I am getting and the hesitation that I'm getting is the sheriff is already a constitutional sheriff. Why does he need this? Well, it puts, it gives him jurisdiction. It gives him nothing. One of the things that Chris Hall said to me too, and it goes into this explanation, is nothing changes unless something changes. So nothing is necessary until there is a violation on one of our fundamental rights that the Bill of Rights. So then the sheriff would then look for some jurisdiction, and then the commissioners would have his back, and he would protect us. So
the idea of the sheriff being on board as a constitutional sheriff, that's very, very good as long as he's the sheriff. but also this whole idea of whether or not something's constitutional or unconstitutional it can be litigated, unless, of course, you have an ordinance that says yes, it is the right, even the responsibility of the sheriff to protect these constitutional rights.
Mm-hmm. Amen, Chuck. And I know that you could explain that far better than I ever could. You are a constitutional, wizard. You've been dug deep into that, and you're able to articulate that very well.
We're starting to get down to the wee moments here of our. I had at least one other thing. But quickly, could you just kind of tell us what the CSPOA is, in case there are those out here who don't really know what that is?
Okay. Constitutional Police Officers Association, and it was founded by Sheriff Richard Mack out of Arizona, back during the Clinton administration. There was the federal government had told him to, I don't know exactly what the instance is, round up certain weapons, do this, do that. But he said absolutely not, and it was the anti-commandeering is what it's referred to as.
Yeah. The Brady Bill.
Anyway, say that again.
The Brady Bill, forcing him to do the bidding of the federal government in regard to gun rights. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And do the bidding of them, and also to stop them from coming into his county and proceeding with that, which is exactly what the Bill of Rights Ordinance stands against. So he took that went all the way to the Supreme Court, and it was the Clinton administration, it was the United States government he went up against, and he won that. And that is, in essence, what this is the head of his organization, and this is what this Bill of Rights Ordinance does. And it's very important. It's more than a statement. It's something that if every county in Florida would do it, it would be absolutely, it'd be like incredible. Let's set up fireworks. But
do I recall that that Sheriff Mack's going to be here local?
That's just what I was going to say. Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, Sheriff Mack is going to. They're having a convention, and he is graciously. I don't have the flyer up in front of me, Chuck. I don't know whether you do or not, but it's on. I believe it's the 26th of July. And I can pull it up real quick. He is going to be, there's 2 chapters in 2 counties of the Republican assemblies that are hosting him. And he's going to be at a restaurant, and it's RSVP only.
July 26th, July 26th, 5 to 8, Ford's Garage Restaurant, 8035 Osceola Polk Line Road in Davenport.
Right.
And
you could find that information on the South Lake. It's not South Lake. What is it? What are we calling ourselves now? At the River Church.
Liberty Citizens Alliance.
Okay, there you go. And you will find that information there. And I also have mailed it out to my Lake County constituents, my email list.
And very quickly, we did want to talk about the Lake County Board of County Commissioners. And they're starting their budget season, and there's some things going on there that maybe the people needed to be aware of here in the closing minute or two.
Okay, there's one of our chapter's members had bumped into a more. She keeps herself abreast on these situations, and has come to find out that the Jordans, David Jordan, I believe, it's David, in the property, that constitutional officer, he's looking for a horrendous increase in his budget. So I put out a call to action email for people to send emails to our commissioners that that expressing our voice on our being against that very much so. So that's one of the things that are coming up, along with the SOE, Alan Hayes. I don't believe personally. I believe we have to have paper ballots kind of at precinct level. Something that it just makes his head explode. He won't have any discussion with that. It's like reinventing, going back to the square wheel. And most of the people in Florida, Tallahassee, all of them, they're just not so much for that. We really have to press on that. So I can't see him getting any more money for space for more machines that we don't trust to begin with. So stand against us. They need to hear us.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I think our time is actually up. Mike, would you have any closing remarks?
I would just say that as it relates to this budget issue, the county commissioners, and I'm going to talk about them collectively, seem to have the attitude that because these constitutional officers are arguably elected, that they have a free rein to ask for whatever they want, and that the amount of that the depth of presentation of their budgets is relatively limited. And of course, I understand there's budget workshops and all that. But I've heard the county commissioners, a couple of different county commissioners say that, we don't really have the right to have deeper insight into their budgets because the people elected them. And that's kind of a rationale for not calling on the constitutional officers to do a detailed presentation of the way they spend their money. And I think that's a problem. I think the county commissioners should be more demanding of the constitutional officers. And I also just want to say before we move off that subject that it's not that we don't want the constitutional officers to have the money that they need in order to run their organizations. That's not the point. But this is just civic respect for the taxpayer, that they would make a presentation to our elected official, who is the county commissioner, who is the ultimate authority over the budget and spending. And they would come out and do a detailed presentation on their budget so we could see, so they could verify to the county commissioners that they are in fact good stewards of the money. Chuck.
Rick, any final comment before I shut us down here?
No, amen to that, Mike. It's like informed consent. It's our money. We need to know. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly. It's out of respect for the constituents who pay the bills.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Super. Well, I'd just like to remind our listeners and viewers that if you're unwilling to govern yourselves, you will be governed by tyrants. So thanks again for tuning in to our twice weekly live stream. See you at next time. And meanwhile, God bless you. God bless President Donald J. Trump, and God bless America.